right. Good morning, everybody. Today is December 16th, 2014, and I think it's Tuesday, and I can't believe I even messed that up. Hold on one more time. Oh, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, December 16th, 2014, and this is Before the First Cup with Jules, Zorie, and Lady Pipple here on UCY.TV. Good morning, ladies. How'd I mess it up?
Hey, how are you?
All right. I messed it up because I don't know, Skype wouldn't answer this new forced upgrade that now doesn't make phone calls outgoing or pick up when other people call me.
Yep, having the same problem here. This forced updating is just really irritating.
Oh, don't even get me started there. I've been having major technical problems since like Thursday or Friday. And it might have been yesterday again. I was having dancing visions of baseball bats.
Moon dancing around your head.
They do too. Oh, and I sit here and I do like that, just the breathe, and the baseball bats are dancing. I'm like, okay, Jill, just let it go.
Yeah, right. And then something else happens.
It's been all my machines. Literally, it's not just one now. It's all of them and all intermittent. And it's been a very frustrating few days. I could say that.
Aww.
I'm not even logged in here. I gotta get in. I have tons and tons and tons of stuff to talk about, though I'm only one sip into my coffee and I'm congested, so I need to blow my nose and log in. So, talk amongst yourselves for a moment.
I guess that shooter in Australia was...
Yeah, wait a minute. There were 3 hostage takers yesterday, by the way.
He was Iranian, so there we go. I think this might be the...
They already called him ISIS way in the beginning.
Iranian ISIS?
Oh, yeah, Iranian ISIS.
Yeah.
Well, there was Australia, there was Belgium, and then there was Pennsylvania all yesterday.
Oh, that's right. All around the world. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So now they've gone from beheading to just hostage taking, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Or shooting.
It's terror. Well,
terror.
There was a clip that I posted. It was probably one of the last ones, and the whole narrative, that's exactly what the guy says at the end. He's like, well, now it moves into the coffee shop. They watch ISIS and these beheadings and stuff, and they're walking around going, well, a beheading, that doesn't affect me. Well, it doesn't affect me. But then it comes to your local coffee shop. How it affects everyone. And I was like, wow. So basically what you just said is the Australians didn't give 2 shits about ISIS until you made it happen on their soil in one of their local coffee shops. Now
exactly.
They should be in lockstep with us, right?
That's always the way, well, it's across the ocean. It doesn't bother me, so who cares who dies?
Right.
And then the one in Pennsylvania was an ex-Marine. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Yep.
Oh, yeah. That was the first red flag that I heard on that story.
There were like 5 dead there.
6.
Oh, 6 now? Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, what are a few deaths in their cause?
Collateral damage.
Yeah, that's what they said, too.
Is it really?
That's what they said, literally. They said that right.
Well, that is what it always is. We don't matter. I mean, so what if 50 people or 100 people die? Isn't that same with the drone bombing?
Yeah.
I mean, I just saw, too, we're increasing drone bombing now.
Yeah, I wonder why they hate us, huh?
Yeah, well, I'm sure it has nothing to do with dropping bombs on funeral parties.
Innocent people, yeah.
And weddings.
Yep.
All right, here, let me get in. I wanted to... Oh, can you bring in my account? And I gotta kill my chat. By the way, is chat still together?
Yeah, it seems to be okay.
Hey, I know chat was down for days.
I like your chat though. That was pretty cool.
You did? I don't know. I
Yeah.
wasn't crazy about it.
Well, I mean, I
Too
like
bubbly, buddy.
Yeah, I like the fact that you could just whip out like a counterpart. You know what I mean? When something goes down, here comes Jules with her 6-gun. Bam!
Oh,
I love
well,
that.
I gotta tell you, for the first like day or so, I was like, oh well, Chad'll be back. But after like day number 2 with no Chad, I was starting to get jonesy. I'm like, man, radio kind of sucks with no Chad.
It does.
You can't talk about it. You can't bitch about something. You can't put a
Right.
link. I was like, oh man. So yeah, I started looking around just for freebies that would embed with either Flash or JavaScript or something. And then I think it was Joe Friday gave me another one to try. So we actually tried a couple. And the one, is it this freaking thing? It is. Turn that off. I still get echo from that machine. The one had issues; it wouldn't render, but the other one did. So we picked the one that worked.
Nice. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, but
Fantastic.
I don't know. I think those other ones are still up there, at least for now. But
Yeah.
I'm hoping Chitango is done with getting their denial of service attacks.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. So let's get to Facebook for a second because there's a whole bunch of things I want to talk about today. And it hasn't happened in a while. So as I was kicking back, scrolling through the news yesterday, I started to see dots again. I haven't seen dots in a while. As they all connect. And it's hard to do a show when dots don't connect and it's just a whole bunch of random crap.
Right.
But before I even get to any dots connecting here, since you brought up the ISIS dude, who supposedly is Iranian now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see this one. As I see Netanyahu just the other day chomping at the bit again, saying that he wants to have now preemptive strike against Iran. What? Are you on crack, dude? Didn't we just hear a story that Iran is over helping us bomb ISIS in Syria?
Yeah.
Not that I even, and I mean, what a complicated web they've woven. I have so much to say about bombing Syria and the whole march to bomb Iran, which this bombing Syria was all a part of. They weren't planning on having the Iranians help us. But in the middle of all of this, for Netanyahu to then decide, and of course, if you stirred up all this shit with Russia and Putin and the whole Ukraine thing and the Syria thing, right? Ukraine had come and asked us to provide them military assistance. I don't know if you saw that, against Russia. And I thought we sent some reinforcements over there.
I didn't see that.
That was twice now. Well, I think, what did they throw up there the last time? Was it Ebola?
Yeah.
It was one of them.
Yeah.
They just threw like all kinds of stuff, and you never heard anything about it, but it actually went up before Congress, and they were asking us to send them aid. Well, so as we're having all these proxy wars against Russia, and of course we put sanctions against them, and there were just some more that went through as part of the end of the year flurry of bills that were passed through the House and the Senate. They had just passed funding for now my computer just went to sleep in front of me, and it made me lose my train of thought. I'm that easily distracted this early in the morning without coffee. Oh, damn. Wait, what funding did I see that they passed? I was actually watching the House floor live on the, I think I talked about that the day I did it, on the website, where it does the refresh, and
Yeah.
it gives you all the bills.
Yes.
Oh, I know I was talking about Russian sanctions. So they passed another round of Russian sanctions as one of the last minute walk out the door freaking bills that they passed. That was on the docket. And they did it verbally. Yay! Hey!
Verbally?
Hey! Yeah, well, they did... All of them they did verbally at the end. They were just whacking through them one after the other. Verbal call. Yep. 59 A's, 176 nays.
Oh my God.
They all were. All right. So anyway, here we are going to. What do I have to do? I have to connect my phone. Oh my God, I am brain dead. At least I'm not swearing. All right. Here, this is the one that I want you to listen to the narrative about. Oh, it's now come to your neighborhood, Australia. Maybe. Oh, yeah, Flash is blocked everywhere again.
Yeah, my computer just crashed.
They just launched the spy bug.
He's also known, as you said, Evan, he's also known as Sheikh Heron, a self-styled Muslim cleric who pleaded guilty last year to writing letters to Australian service members saying they were Hitler's soldiers. That's according to Australian media. So, Tom, I suppose what ISIS is really doing is it's mobilizing deranged people to its cause all over the world.
I think they'll mobilize anybody, deranged or otherwise, or just fanatically religious. But one of the interesting things here is that we've heard about the targeting of people in uniform, soldiers, such as in Canada, or uniformed police officers, the hatchet attack of NYPD officers in New York City.
I want to stop because did you hear he hit a few of the stories that we followed, and I think we missed the first one, the Canadian gunman. Do you remember?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the Canadian dude that ran up, and they're like, oh, now Canada's having terror attacks. And then he mentioned the hatchet attacks. Remember those? Oh, crazy people attacking servicemen with hatchets. It must be terror. They're related to terror. They were jihadis. Oh, my God, dyslexia. Do you remember that?
Yep.
That was in New York. So how interesting that now one hits at Sydney, and he brings up those two seemingly unrelated events and connects them here.
The targeting of people in uniform, soldiers.
The targeting of people in uniform, soldiers, police officers.
Such as in Canada, or uniform.
Oh, you know what? Anyone targeting anyone in uniform must be a terrorist. That's what... Do you hear those dots being connected in dumb America's head right now?
Yep.
And, I mean, think about what's happening. Think about the backlash against the police state in this country and all of the bad feelings right now. So let's pound this narrative to make sure that everybody thinks that anyone who has any issue with anyone in uniform now must be ergo a terrorist. Right?
Absolutely.
All right, here we're going to play this little clip again with him saying all that.
Otherwise, or just fanatically religious. But, one of the interesting things here is that we've heard about the targeting of people in uniform, soldiers, such as in Canada, or uniformed police officers, the hatchet attack of NYPD officers in New York City. But really what terrifies people is this type of activity where ordinary people can get caught up in a terrorist act. People, even with the horrific beheadings of journalists in Syria, most people say, well, I'm never going to be a journalist in Syria, or I'm never going to be a soldier in uniform or a uniformed police officer, but I am going to walk down the street in downtown Australia, in Sydney, Australia. I am going to go into a coffee shop, and if they commit terrorist acts there, then everybody's vulnerable, and that makes it more terrifying, which is the objective they have.
Climb under your bed. Now.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be terrified. I don't know. I think that was the whole point of the Australian attack. And, yeah, that guy was a cleric, so I didn't realize that. And obviously, yes, they do have clerics in Iran. He lives in the United States, though. That man, because there was a video that came later that I posted. Let me go back to that page because it says his name. Man something is his name. But he lives in the United States. Man Haron Moniz is the man that they identified as the one who took hostages in Australia. And I thought, too, I posted a story that they had been following him for some time. The U.S. has had their eye on him.
I'm sure the FBI is all over it.
Yeah.
The CIA operative.
Maybe, yeah. How interesting is that he had been living here?
Oh, that just tells me everything right there. Seriously? I mean, it's not hard to put these pieces together when you know the damn track record of these fuckers.
Yeah, I don't know if... I was trying to be selective and not overwhelm my feed, so when I finally was able to crawl my ass out of bed to be here, that I would not make jambalaya out of my feed and then not be able to find anything. So I did just a few little sprinkles here and there. Yeah, I did one on Belgium. I did one on the Pennsylvania, and I did one on Sydney. So hold on. Now we got to go to the master feed. Yes. How's everybody doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
I'm having
Still
hot
raining.
flashes.
Oh,
It is.
shit.
Yeah, my face is hot.
Uh-oh. Hate that.
Oh my God, Jon Stewart, puppet master Dick Cheney's mind is the quote scariest fucking place in the universe.
I love Jon Stewart.
He pissed me off. I used to be a big fan until he pissed me off having that chick from the EPA, the one that turned off all the radiation monitors after Fukushima on.
Yeah.
And he started advertising nuclear right at that time, and I begged him. I sent him a message. I'm like, look, I sent him links. Look, you need to ask her the question, why are all of our radiation detectors broken or not functioning properly? And he never asked her. He never responded. And so I said, screw you, Jon Stewart, then I'm done.
Yeah,
You have
he's a
nuclear-
comedian. He's not a newsman.
Okay,
People
no.
get lost in
No, he is a newsman.
that.
How is he not a newsman? He does news. He does news like I do news. I read it and I laugh at it, and then I postulate and I make fun of it. And I mean, he's still a newsman. He's like trying to reach all of the dumb middle America masses with his humor, and they get it sometimes. But
Well, that's where most of them get their news, is from him.
from Jon Stewart, right? And I mean, he does actual interviews with real people. All he had to do was ask her why those EPA monitors were all turned off with a twist of humor.
Yeah. Exactly.
Instead of taking nuclear agency advertisement on his show. And I don't know if he's still doing that anymore. There was a big backlash after that all happened.
Well, Libby Haleve has been trying to get him to respond to her for years.
I know.
Unsuccessfully, I might add.
Yeah. Let's see. I had to get. You know what? I'm probably about 100 videos behind where I was yesterday.
Oh, wow. Oh, jeez.
So I don't know
Wow.
if I'll even be able to find the story that I'm looking for. But we'll try. Oh, yeah. Someone already did that one.
It's so weird. I mean, so this Iranian ISIS guy in Australia actually lives in the United States, and Yank My Yahoo wants to go in and just obliterate Iran off the face of the map. I mean, I don't know. This narrative is getting a little old, and they're just using it on us, and everybody falls for it. That's my problem with it.
Here we go, though. This is brand new. He just posted 2 hours ago, and wow, it's gotten a lot of views without even being shared. More than 100, and we've talked about this too. Remember, I told you that they warned us a long time ago, attack our children, because that's where the most horror is. More than 130 people dead in a Taliban attack on a school, most of them children.
Oh, my God.
Now, wait, weren't we just trying to leave Afghanistan?
No, we were supposed to.
Now, this one happened to be a Pakistan Taliban attack, but the Taliban are still in Afghanistan as well. Oh,
and didn't when those kids disappeared in Africa, didn't we send troops in there for that too?
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah. Here we go. Here's our little gateway ticket into Pakistan now.
Yeah, Pakistan has nuclear weapons, but here's the thing. One of the reasons why we want to get our feet on the ground in Pakistan, and this is what I was kind of alluding to before, so this proxy war with Putin and Russia. So as we've now been putting, and I believe this is round 3 of sanctions against Russia, because we say that they invaded Ukraine, which, you know, I don't know, there's a very, very, very long history there, long before we stuck our noses in it. And the thing is like that southern Ukraine really, by all intents and purposes, was still kind of Russian territory. You know, we act like Putin went in, and I know there's both sides of the coin. Oh, he went in and invaded a sovereign nation, but he had his naval bases there, okay? It used to be a part of Russia before the whole Iron Curtain fell and the Eastern Bloc split apart.
Right.
But they had an agreement. That was the seaport for Russia on that side of the country, okay? All those people living on that peninsula were pretty much Russians, right? They were Russian blood, Russian culture. Even though there's borders there, it's kind of like
Puerto Rico to us.
Or even closer. Like some of the border towns like Niagara Falls, let's say. Niagara Falls, Canada, Niagara Falls, New York.
Yeah.
You know, where they're on both sides, but they're mutually beneficial to each other.
Right.
You know, the money flows both ways, and even though there's a border, it's like, hey, hi, Sam, hi, Joe. You know, as they cross over to go to their jobs for tomorrow.
Right, like Windsor and Detroit.
Right. So, you know, I don't know. I saw that they still keep trying to stir this up again. But anyway, so what happens, Putin decides to give us, he's pretty good at it at times, the big F you, and went into India and just inked a deal with India now to sell them 12 nuclear reactors. 12, count them 12. Now, who is Pakistan's biggest enemy?
India.
Yes. And India has not been allowed to purchase nuclear material for quite a number of years. They were banned. They are not a part of the Non-Proliferation Agreement, and neither is Pakistan. Pakistan has their nuclear program because, and I don't remember the name of the general right now, but it was under Bhutto, who used to be the leader that was assassinated in Pakistan a couple years ago. Her general had a secret atomic bomb plan, nuclear plan going on behind her back.
Oh.
Yeah, and so they developed nuclear weapons without her knowledge. She did not like the military coup that was going on, and oops. And I'm trying to remember what the whole situation was because it was so long ago now. It's like when I was first starting to realize how everything was fake. But she had stuck her foot where it didn't belong. She was driving in a car, and I think she was just going for re-election. The country just adored her, and she stuck her head out through a sunroof in a vehicle, and someone sniped her.
Yeah. Took her right out.
And then the head of the military took over for a time, I believe, and then her husband was elected. Now I think her husband went to jail. I don't know. I haven't paid a lot of attention to Pakistan in a while, but anyway, there is a big deal between Pakistan and India. They've hated each other for years. India has been banned from owning nuclear material for quite a long time. I was just watching something the other day. Apparently, when they did have nuclear material and was not part of the non-proliferation agreement, they started doing above-ground testing, and they got kind of upset about that, and so they bitch-slapped them and took away their ability. I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot more to that story that we'll be finding here very soon as a nuclear India ramps up. Thanks, Putin. But earlier this year, or maybe it was late last year, they finally decided that they were going to allow India to start buying nuclear material again. And who's going to sell it to them? Australia.
Oh. Ding, 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 ding.
Interesting. Ding, ding, ding. Yes. And when that happened, I was like, ha ha. So now what they're going to do, since Pakistan wants our asses out of there from us drone bombing innocent people, and they even went to the UN to say, please make them stop, we just decided to allow Australia to start selling uranium to India, who is Pakistan's biggest foe. Yeah, that's not a setup.
No,
not at all.
What a sticky wicket wee wee.
Oh, yes. I'm quiet, but don't think I'm not paying attention.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what I've been waiting for a long time. So when I saw Putin, and I was just talking to Hammy, I thought I mentioned, and I got to find proof of that. I thought not only did Putin sell 12 new nuclear reactors, which Hammy told me that not only did we sell them, Putin, not only did Putin sell them 12 nuclear reactors, but they're building them over the next 50 years, I think he said. The Russians are in India.
Of course.
Now that's pretty messed up.
Boy, talk about setup for World War III. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah.
God, this is obvious as hell.
Well, part 2, I thought, and you know what, once we get a good video going and I take a couple more big swigs of coffee, I'll see if I can find the post that I did. I thought I just saw, along with the selling 12 nuclear reactors to India, that Putin also sold, and I'm not sure I'm pretty sure it was nuclear reactors, but it might have been nuclear material to Iran.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So, wow.
Hasn't that been, I've heard that's been going on for a couple years now. That he's been selling stuff to Iran.
Yeah, he has been. They have an oil deal, too.
Yes.
Where they trade directly in their own funds without the petrodollar.
And then watch Iran join the BRICS. Just watch. I bet you that's down the pike.
It's possible, though. I don't know. Iran is not... I mean, they're socialist, and Iran has clerics and stuff, and I think they're probably a little more religiously square. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know if they would fit in with that.
It'll be interesting to see either way.
But it won't need to join BRICS unless, if Russia and China are in BRICS. I haven't seen China in BRICS, are they?
Yes, they absolutely are.
They are?
Yes.
I didn't see them in there. Well,
oh, yeah.
If Russia and China are in BRICS, then possibly, yeah. I mean, that's...
Iran and India.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. You knew this was coming. All right, new post. Oh, wait, damn it, don't start. It has been so hard for me, guys, with all the stuff that I try to do every day. And it's just like sprinkle, 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 sprinkle. But it's just so hard to keep up.
It is.
I mean, I literally, from the second I get up until the second I finally can't force my eyes to stay open anymore and pass out, feeling like I'm going to die because I'm so tired. There still isn't enough time to do everything. Oh, Dodie says she got dumped.
Oh, gosh. How did that happen?
Yeah, I didn't see that. Yeah, pull her back in. There she goes. All right, here. Listen to this. Here is what the whole Australia attack was leading up to. Oh. Hold on. Now I have no sound. Skype has no sound.
Damn Skype.
Is Zorie there?
Yeah, my computer just completely crashed.
Wow, that happened to Lady Pitbull too. Not completely, but
Yeah, thank God, not completely.
I went to the blue screen of death.
Sydney Cat.
Okay, there we go.
all right, guys, this is what this Australia attack was leading to, because you know, this dotted line is going to a mass cyber attack, right?
Oh, yeah.
They've been warning and warning, man it. Remember? Oh, SCADA systems, DARPA, SCADA systems. Oh, we're vulnerable. Hackers. Keith Alexander, Cyber Center. Oh, because here it all comes. And guess what, guys? Now they're really warning about it, and they're going, oh, we're in deep shit if we get attacked. Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do. And think about how many things a massive, massive cyber attack could help them roll out.
Oh, my God. It would be...
Like Christmas in July.
It would be. Totally.
Christmas at Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas at Christmas, indeed.
And you know, you've been seeing these breaches all over for a while, so it's going to be something already that they've tried to make you not get excited about. Oh, yeah, there's another breach. Oh, $10.9 million stolen and 50 billion records, but don't worry about it because, like, that's the 8th time it's already happened. You know, I mean, that's what they do, right? So now it's no big deal anymore for hacks. No, nobody's really paying attention to the bouncing ball.
Right, and they just hacked into Hollywood, so they're proving they can hack in anywhere.
Oh, Sony was huge, too.
Mm-hmm.
Now you know that the reason that they had said, and I did not see if there was any forensic evidence yet, but it had been rumored that it was North Korea that actually purported that attack into Sony Pictures. And the reason why they said it was North Korea is because that new film is just coming out by Sony Pictures that makes fun of Kim Jong-il.
Kim
Jong. He asked them to pull that.
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong something, one of them.
He's the un of the ill.
Yeah, I don't know which one it made fun of, but it made fun of one of the Kim Jongs.
It was.
They didn't take too kindly to that.
Oh, he's pissed over there. He does not want that film released at all.
Yeah, and so there are rumors all over saying that it very possibly could be North Korea that hacked Sony. Now, have you read any of the Sony emails that leaked? Oh my God! Like, talk about absolutely embarrassing. And what's even funnier, but I think they're going to use this against us, is, you know, the whole copyright issue. We've been talking about them using copyright to shut down free speech on the internet. And the whole copyright component of the TTP/IP, which is including all the Pacific Rim countries. And that is something that's still on the plate that will allow them to put their cop thug boots Microsoft Cyber Patrol Center. Because remember, we've listened to that video a few times where they announced their Cyber Patrol Center. Copyright is one of Microsoft's big fortes. Okay, that's one of the things that they're going to be used to enforce are online copyrights. So by making one of these big Hollywood moguls now all of a sudden susceptible to those hackers, oh my God, look at what now they've set up again. Time to clamp down and shut it down.
Yeah.
You see they leaked movies too?
Yes. How convenient. Yep. How so very convenient that there just
it sure is. It
happened
sure
to be a film about Kim Jong-un, and look, here's where the cyber attack we see. It's originating from North Korea. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's just all a stupid narrative, and people just eat it up and go, oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, oh, okay. Oh, look, it's like a soap opera. Yep, oh, okay. It's supposed to be.
Right.
Supposed to get your attention like dangling little carrots. Pay attention here. Pay attention here. I mean, we really, if you look at what television, video games, and things that get your attention by causing your body to produce endorphins and serotonin and adrenaline. Those are all those things. Those are the areas of the brain that cocaine and addictions work on, right?
Exactly.
The ones that keep you coming back. The same parts of the brain that they get to start like flashing when they put rats into a maze and then get them to go to the other end with a treat.
Pavlovian response.
Exactly. And so, as they condition us by giving these little tidbits, you know, and they can get our attention, because what's the adult attention span now? Oh, the time between commercials. So, how long is that? Like minutes, something like that, before we start to wane and our mind starts to wander and we need to get up and get some Cheetos.
Yeah, attention span.
Yeah, so what? Yeah, that's it, attention span. Anyway, so wait, let's get back here. So I just saw this video that dovetails right into the Australian story. And like he said, you know, it's far away. But then when it happens in your town, in your coffee shop, then it could be anybody. It could be anywhere. It could be my coffee shop. Yes, it could be.
Cafe, not far from Australia's famed opera house, is the latest carried out this year, either in the name of ISIS or Islamic extremism. A stark reminder that lone wolf attacks can happen anywhere, anytime. What the attackers have in common is they're often self-radicalized men, the majority recent converts, the majority with criminal histories, and sometimes mental problems, acting on their own, striking soft targets, easy to attack.
Now, I've noticed in the last two videos, they've both mentioned mental problems, crazies, lone wolf types. So remember, if you don't like to hang out with loud noises and people, you must be crazy.
Cafe, a museum, a national monument.
How do you process what we are seeing?
There's an acronym for DIY, sort of do-it-yourself jihad, where individuals are taking it upon themselves, whether they live in London or New York or Ottawa or Sydney, to go out and commit an act of terrorism on their own.
Among the most dramatic recently, in October, a wannabe Syrian jihad fighter strikes Canadian Parliament and soldiers at a Canadian war monument. In Quebec, another man targets soldiers at a shopping center. In the U.S. in September, an Oklahoma business is targeted when a recent Islamic convert beheads a female co-worker.
For a lot of them, a group like ISIS or Al-Qaeda provides a heroic identity for them to associate themselves with a cause that's bigger than just sort of being a loser on their own.
The shooting by a former ISIS fighter at the Jewish Museum in Belgium in May and beheading of a British soldier in London by two converts were also identified as lone wolf attacks, what experts like Mitch Silber of K2 Intelligence call spontaneous jihad, with major propaganda value.
The lesson is even people who are low functioning, if they're inspired by a group like ISIS, they too can be deadly.
In September, ISIS called on supporters to attack wherever, using whatever. In Sydney, because of the strange shape of the gunman's black vest, authorities worried he may be wearing explosives. Yet for the most part, weapons chosen have been relatively commonplace. A gun, a car, an axe, easy to get, easy to strike, and without meaningful intelligence, hard to prevent.
And that's why the NYPD has mobilized one of its detectives from Singapore to Sydney to work with both federal and local police there to see exactly who this person was, whether there may be any suggestion that he has any contacts in the United States, and more importantly, to see exactly how this played out so they can learn from the attack, from the hostage taking, and discover ways to either prevent it or certainly to respond in a way that perhaps they wouldn't have before.
Did you hear that? The way
Yeah.
It just makes me want to puke.
She said
I want to... Oh, go ahead.
Major propaganda value. It was choice words there that she used. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, these people and the links. And the complicit media goes right along with it and reads the narrative and never questions. It's ridiculous. Any 3-year-old could see this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Go. Here, let's listen to a little more about the guy in Australia. See, I thought I originally had read that the hostage taker in Australia had been an Australian that then self-radicalized and became an ISIS member, but he had warned Australia he was going to attack. But then I saw something later that said that he was like an expatriate, an expat, and had lived in the United States. But I don't. That was like just in a clip. I don't have like an actual story for that. Here, hold on. Let's see.
In harmony.
We only hear about the lone wolves who are quote-unquote successful, but there are many other lone wolves that I would suppose authorities are able to stop. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so, I mean, even with this investigation, you know, Australia in the last few months has been taking a lot of proactive measures to get a lot of these dangerous people off the streets. So worldwide, I mean, there's a lot of cooperation between the FBI and other police forces across the world. So worldwide, we try to be as proactive as possible through intelligence, analysts, and all of these other techniques that we have to try to detect not only who is possibly an extremist, but who is going to take the next step and do some violent act, based on their ideology and their beliefs. So the cops and the police try to do as much as they can to prevent some of these dangerous people. Sometimes they do slip through, though, and that's, I think, maybe what happened in this case. There was one guy that was clearly criminally on the edge of society, but, obviously they didn't know that he was going to move forward and take a step like this.
Huh. Now, see, that's totally different than what I heard yesterday.
That's weird. See, the narrative changes day by day as they need it. And notice how she said, "Oh, cooperation worldwide with the FBI." Oh, just like I said. Jeez, that ain't a surprise, is it?
Yeah, well, that's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Did you see, too, they came out, and I guess we can get off of this. I guess I really I don't know, some days I'm just like, whatever, it's the same story every single day, just
it is
different players, different location, but it's the same narrative. There were apparently there were witnesses that have been caught lying to the grand jury during Ferguson.
Oh.
Did you hear about that?
No, I haven't.
Here, we could check this one out, too. And then I have something to say, because I discovered a story, and maybe we can make a phone call, though you are hosting, so I don't think I can make a call.
Oh, no. Oh, sure.
Yeah, I was going to try and make a phone call today, but all right, I'll have to do that off air. But I discovered something really disturbing yesterday. Hold on. Here, let's listen to this. Ferguson witnesses admit to lying. Which, shouldn't there really be a grand jury hearing now?
There should be. Can they do that? Can they reopen, do another hearing?
I don't know. Probably not.
More than 2 weeks after a St. Louis County grand jury did not indict Officer Darren Wilson in the killing of Michael Brown, new revelations about the evidence that drove their decision. Witnesses admitted to lying.
Some witnesses admitted they didn't actually see the shooting or only saw a part of the shooting or only repeating what they had heard on the street.
Others changed their story. The grand jury had to figure out who and what to believe.
This is demonstrating to the citizens what people in the justice system have known for a long time, that eyewitness testimony that data is increasingly showing is inherently, at best, unreliable. At worst, it's completely unreliable.
Thousands of pages of documents made public turn up several examples of testimony with little to no credibility. Witness 22, whose testimony was at first damaging to Officer Wilson, admitted she lied when pressed by investigators, eventually telling the grand jury, quote, "I just felt like I want to be part of something. I didn't see what I told the FBI." Testimony from Witness 35 might have helped lead to an indictment of Officer Wilson, testifying that Michael Brown was, quote, "on his knees" when shot in the head by Wilson. But it wasn't true. The witness admits to making that story up. In one exchange, the prosecutor asked, "Are you telling us the only thing that's true about all of your statements before this is that you saw that police officer shoot him at point-blank range?" The answer, yes. And it happened on both sides. Witness 40 supported Wilson's version of what happened. But prosecutors revealed she posted a racist comment online on the day of the shooting that read, quote, "They need to kill the expletive. It's like an ape fest." And when questioned about what she allegedly saw, she admitted to having gathered some of the details from news reports.
And we took off running.
Dorian Johnson was one witness who remained consistent. He was with Brown at the time of the shooting. Johnson told a nearly identical hands-up version of what happened to county and federal authorities, the grand jury, and the media.
He shot again, and once my friend felt that shot, he turned around and he put his hands in the air, and he started to get down, but the officer still approached with his weapon drawn, and he fired several more shots.
62 witnesses total, more than 5,000 documents of testimony presented. Did the ones that were credible all have the same version of the shooting?
No. And that's something else that's really important for people to learn about this as we piece through this testimony. So
CNN's Josh Letts has led the project of going through all the documents made public.
Most of them were probably doing their best to say what it is they remember. But no, they do not have one joint narrative as to what happened.
Leaving critics to question, was too much information presented to the grand jury? Should the process have been done differently? And if so, could it have led to a different outcome? Ana Cabrera, CNN, Chicago.
So what do you think of that? And here's another thing. Like, I have a whole bunch of documents put together, if I ever get some time to do a story on this whole grand jury problem. I mean, what the UN is questioning the validity of the grand jury now, as well as a lot of people in this country, just with these two non-indictments that happened between Eric Garner and Michael Brown. And now to find out, you know, they had said that prosecutors pretty much can get their own way and their own decision, whatever they want with a grand jury, they can sway them easily. But then to find out that we have people outright lying really shouldn't be putting any type of confidence in the grand jury system for any of us.
Right. It's setting this weird precedent now suddenly that witnesses can't be trusted to speak what they've witnessed. That's to put that seed down is very dangerous in my opinion.
And also I wonder, is it considered perjury since you're not really in a court of law?
It's still perjury because they said they lied to some of them lied to the FBI. That's and when
they must have had some sort of sworn statement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a different charge though, but it's not called perjury. It's called lying to the FBI. You can't do that. But yeah. So are they going to do anything with these people that lied?
They need to because the law says that they have to be punished in some way. You can't lie in front of a grand jury or a court.
Right, but cops do it all the time.
Yeah.
So, you know, because here's something else. Speaking about trials, anyone been following the Reverend Pinckney story?
Go ahead.
So no?
No, I haven't found anything on it.
Well, we've had him on as a guest on our network. He's probably been on about 6 times now.
Yeah, I love
told
the guy.
his story. Yeah, and we even were going to ask him if he wanted to do a radio show when he first interviewed with Madison back 2 or 3 years ago. The problem is that they set him up, right? They set him up because he exposed corruption in Benton Harbor. His sentencing was yesterday, guys.
Oh?
Yeah, now, mind you, like right before last week, it was the end of last week, there were a couple stories that went out. Pinckney had managed to expose 2 or 3 different individuals that had been responsible for getting him convicted on corruption charges, and they'd been taking in bribes or laundering money from government funds. I posted a story on it on UCY. They went to jail, too. They were arrested.
Wow.
But then a story came out from Daniela. Hold on. Let me get out there. Story came out from Daniela about now one of the witnesses that who was responsible for getting him in jail is just caught. This is a juror, actually. She was just caught lying in court
Oh!
And this was over the weekend, I guess, that was exposed. And his sentencing still went through yesterday. So I haven't talked to Daniela yet, but Brandon dropped me a note yesterday. So I asked him what happened. They sentenced Pinckney. Now, remember, there was no evidence. They had no solid evidence. And they said that he had forged signatures on a petition to get someone on the election ballot. That's what this was all about.
And didn't they prove that it wasn't his signature?
They absolutely did.
Right.
His lawyer brought in expert witnesses that did handwriting analysis and had nothing to do with it. It was not his writing. They had nothing to the contrary for the prosecution. And an all-white jury, and this whole race thing, I don't get into this race baiting, but it was interesting that it was an all-white jury convicted him, so he just went for his sentencing. Now, remember, he was exposing lots of different corruption in Benton Harbor, okay? All dealing with Whirlpool, this large global multinational corporation that came in and ate up their city, and now they're chop-shopping it up as everything's gone bankrupt, and they're going to sell it off on pennies on the dollar, the entire lakefront, mind you, and all the private assets to private individuals and corporations. But Reverend Pinckney and his wife used to go to all these committee meetings and the city meetings and take notes and trace and connect the dots and pick out who all the scumbags were and try to expose them. So they had to get him out of the way. He just got sentenced. And I believe it was only 10 signatures, by the way, that they said that he forged. And it was a date. And it wasn't even like, it was just to get somebody on the ballot. Like, it was the most insignificant, stupid-sounding freaking charges ever on the planet. Yeah. He just got sentenced 2.5 to 10 years. Guys.
What? Yep.
They were going for 20 to life.
Right. I thought I heard 30
20 to life.
Point. Yeah.
There's no fucking way under this planet, sun, that they could give him life for something like that.
That's what they were trying to go for. I was like, are you kidding me? Now, I don't know if they got a 3 strikes. 10 years. It's fucking unbelievable. So I guess Pinckney's not going to be doing a show here. I was so pissed off when I saw that.
They have to appeal it. They have to.
Well,
you know.
Well, I hope so.
But yeah, that was so ridiculous.
Or have a new trial based on new evidence that the witness that testified against him was caught perjuring herself.
Well, and all the other guys that were convicted for laundering funds and freaking embezzling money.
Yeah, man. I mean, come on.
What is that shit? How can I can't even believe that they allowed his sentencing to continue with all that stuff that happened right before his sentencing.
Oh my God, he needs to fire that lawyer.
Here he comes. I don't think I can answer this, JJ. Wendy has to answer it. Can you conference this, Colin?
Yeah, bring him in? Sure, I could bring him in. Bang, bang, bang. Bang! There we go. He's got to answer. Nope. Call failed. Damn it.
I muted. I don't think we could take a call because you're hosting the call.
Wait, I think he's there.
There.
Yeah.
This is weird. I was trying to call you on the phone.
Yeah, it was forwarded to Nick in Mexico still.
Well, so now I'm just on this shitty laptop, so I hope I sound all right.
Sound fine, dude.
Do I?
Good morning.
Yeah.
Well, good morning, ladies.
What's up?
What's up?
Sup?
What's up, Wendy?
How are
Chilling,
you?
Yo.
It's awesome, dude.
I was going to call in the other day, and the phones weren't working, so I thought I'd call in and say good morning to you girls. To you ladies.
Hey, it's good to hear you, dude.
Dodie,
How's it
Jules,
going?
Wendy, my favorite girls.
Yay!
Your favorite morning breakfast girls?
My favorite first cup ladies.
So wait, did you have your birthday yet, or is that Friday?
My birthday is Friday.
Friday.
Oh,
Yep, right.
Birthday.
Happy Friday birthday.
Friday's my birthday. I will be
Yeah, wait.
32.
There you go.
Oh, guy, that doesn't work for guys, huh? It just makes
No.
me like a homo.
Sorry, you blew it there, dude.
Yeah.
I thought it was 29. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's girls. You're 29.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I'm 47. Unfortunately.
No, you're not. You keep 1968, but you were born in December.
36. Well, I'm glad I got you guys to keep me straight.
Youngster.
My wife just gives up. She's like, yeah, you're 47.
Whatever age you say.
So I didn't actually hear too much about what was going on this morning.
About?
What you guys were talking about. My connection's sort of in and out. That's why I was using the phone.
Oh.
Dude, how much snow did you get there?
I got 2 frickin' feet, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Why is it
Nice.
that you're laughing at me? I went down to Paul's house yesterday, and they were like, oh, we got 8 inches. I said, I got about 2 feet, and they all laughed at me. Is that funny that I got 2 feet of snow?
Oh, it's amazing.
That's funny.
We got a foot, and I knew you guys probably were getting way hammered because it was coming from
Tug
the
Hill,
nor'easter.
Tug Hill got like 40 inches.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, the winds must have been coming from the right direction.
Well, yeah, they're snug right in the middle of the lake, of the big lake, and then Oneida Lake, so they get really hammered there.
That's pretty impressive. Meanwhile, we haven't gotten. We probably got like an inch, not even that, on the ground here the whole time. Nothing. It's bypassing Michigan.
It is. Michigan usually gets some good snow.
Yeah, so far here in southeast Michigan. Now up north is a different story because they're right off Lake Superior, and that beltway up near Marquette is the same lake effect machine that you guys got there.
Yeah. So what's the hot topic today?
Oh, we were looking at, I was connecting a bunch of dots that I started seeing yesterday. Now, of course, we had 3 hostage situations yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Worldwide. And, you know,
and here's how you tie that in, all right? China, listen, about 3 weeks ago, and I mentioned this before, China had $1 trillion debt to the United States come due, and the United States couldn't find any creditors to loan them money to pay it. So the Fed printed $1 trillion, and I'm going to guess that they're going to spend that money on gold. They've been trying to buy all the gold they can.
Well, wait a minute, JJ. When China had a line come due with the U.S., because about the same time I saw China, and we talked about this, China opened up their stock market to foreign investment, which, of course, money just started pouring in like crazy, and they overtook the U.S. economy for the first time ever. So the U.S. is number 2 now. And what was the third thing that did? Oh, the U.S. debt hit $18 trillion, and they had a party in China.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to spend $1 trillion on gold and U.S. highways and toll roads and parks.
Nice.
And
in Detroit's. In Detroit's.
Yeah, well, they're going to buy Detroit's infrastructure, and the people in Detroit are going to say, hey, that's great. But they're not going to realize that it's China that's doing it, that it's not their local community itself.
Wayne County, Detroit just came out of debt too, and the reason why they came out of debt is because they sold the Joe Louis Arena, whole waterfront strip, and the whole big strip all the way down to the Renaissance Center and points thereof, and then that got Detroit out of debt, and
Well, that's what's working. That's what's happening right now in Benton Harbor as well. They're getting ready to sell off like the parks and stuff. Did you hear me saying, JJ, about Reverend Pinckney? He got 2.5 to 10 years. Brandon told me yesterday.
Pinckney for what?
Pinckney for what they said was all. You haven't followed this. These trumped up.
The only Pinckney I know is Larry Pinckney.
No, this is a different Pinckney dude.
Yeah, we'll tell you later. I mean, we just talked about this.
We're not talking about the Pink Panther then.
No,
I'm just kidding. No, I do know who you're talking about, but I'm not really familiar with what you're talking about. So sorry.
No, that's okay.
Anyway, it was trumped up charges.
Oh, okay.
Well, trumped up charges.
Well, everybody, all the communities, all these communities here in upstate New York, like for instance, Syracuse is where are we getting these billions of dollars that these cities are getting to beautify? Like Syracuse is getting like $6 million just free, just here, do with it as you please. Where's all this money coming from? A nation that's $18 trillion in debt. Where are we getting? Where's all this money coming from?
Call it
Printing presses.
Call it 20 trillion.
20 trillion. Okay. Where's it coming from? You know what I mean?
Printing presses. They just printed up a bunch of money.
Exactly.
Well, here's something. So we started the show talking about some of the stuff with Russia and the proxy wars, and
your small town community wouldn't take $100 million from China if it was offered through through a couple of different companies or lenders. If they can't get it from the government, they'll get it wherever they can. They'll sell bonds, and they don't care who buys them.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. I just was going to point out that with this new round of economic sanctions that the House just ratified against Russia, the Russian ruble is crashing. And, oil prices are crashing as well. I actually, the other day...
And here's what I see. A lot of people, all my friends see these prices of gas going down and go, oh, man, great, things are getting back to normal. I see us circling the drain with the prices of gas going down. I see us actually dropping into the drain now.
Well, that's what I was going to point out from a financial perspective, yes. So now we see OPEC is not going to restrain their production, right? OPEC is going to keep flooding the market. We have Russia flooding the market. Prices are tanking because of this. Now, remember, we're totally the puppet masters behind the Saudi oil production, right? Aramco. I mean, if you go back into the history of...
and it's all based on Federal Reserve notes, too.
Right.
So they're probably sick of buying... There's probably nothing left that they can buy with their cheap Federal Reserve notes. So what are they going to do? They're going to flood the market like they did in the 70s.
Right. Well, in the 70s, remember, we were in a mass depression, and oil prices went sky high in the beginning. Do you remember that?
That was when OPEC formed.
Yes.
Actually.
Was it?
Thank you.
I didn't know that because I remember we were so poor then. My dad was laid off for a couple years.
It was like 1972 when we were removed from the, when Bretton Woods came off the table, when the world lost the gold value in their Federal Reserve notes, OPEC formed, and that's when Zbigniew Brzezinski and the OPEC countries created what's known as the petrodollar, which is basically a Federal Reserve note that is its value is enforced at the barrel of a gun or a tank or a drone. Based on petroleum.
OPEC was formed in September of 1960.
1960 then. Okay, I was wrong.
Well,
but it was 1972 when they started flooding the market, when we had the big oil lines and...
This is interesting. It says OPEC, a permanent international organization with its headquarters in Vienna, Austria, and was established in Baghdad, Iraq on 10/14 September 1960. Interesting. And it was established in Iraq. In Baghdad.
Yeah, that's nice.
Either way, I just see the price of oil or the price of gas, because the Saudis and the Zionists and the Americans all, at the top of the ladder, they all swap spit and share little boys. You know that.
Yeah.
So, what I see is this is all just more, while they steal the rest of the copper and the banister and the the chandeliers, we just sit here and we're happy that gas is 30 cents cheaper right now.
Right. I mean, it's another freaking distraction as they're chucking the fixtures out the back door.
Right.
Now it's the toilets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they're ripping the copper out of the walls.
Yes.
And the pipes. So, all right, here we go. So we have this whole petrodollar, tanking oil, sanctions against Russia, tanking ruble. Now, Russia, I saw, is going to have to implement the fifth now interest rate increase, okay? Well, back a few months ago in this country, and it happened to no fanfare whatsoever. I saw one story. I posted, I didn't hear anyone even mention it. Quantitative easing to infinity ended. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the Fed's not going to raise the rates like they say. I just know.
Well, they're threatening that it might be
They
time
should.
to raise the rates because things are getting good now.
Well, the thing
What?
is, if they raise the interest rate, the stock market will tank. The reason that the stock market, in 2008, when they lowered the rates to zero, there is no bond market right now. Nobody's buying or selling U.S. bonds, T-bills, and that's because there's zero interest rate, and that's why everybody's putting their money in the stock market. And it was a fake. It was it's a fraud. And when they do, if they raise the interest rate just 1 point, the stock market would dip to 6,000 easily. In my opinion.
Yeah, that would be very detrimental. Yeah. That would suck out all of anything that's left of middle America that's in the stock market.
Exactly. Absolutely.
All the 401ks, all the IRAs.
Gone. Just gone.
Pensions.
Just like it was in 29.
And then all them people with their fruity little badges and their holiday costumes, they'd be out there protecting the people that did it.
That's right.
Well, like we saw when we were in New York. Remember all those thugs, and we started questioning, well, what's that building that has all these guys in riot gear? And what did it end up being? Harriman Brothers. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's how I first learned about the Bush connection. When we got home, I wrote down in my bag what the name of the building was that these guys were all guarding. And when I got home, I started digging into it. And I'm like, fuck, did you know that Granddaddy Bush was involved with the Nazis?
Brown Brothers Harriman.
Yeah, it's the first I had ever heard of that.
That's correct, along with Kellogg. They're in there, too.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, believe me, they're all in there.
They are. Yeah, they help fund. I mean, right along with Ford, they helped fund Nazis. They've helped fund Bolshevism and Marxism across the world.
Absolutely.
And we laud them as heroes of Wall Street.
Yeah, it's absolutely true.
They're the men.
I want to know.
They're also the men who built Russia. The men who built Israel.
I want to know what this bill was that got tacked on to the end of the budget to give bailouts again to Wall Street. I didn't really get a good read on.
No, I didn't hear that. But what I did see that happened yesterday was a bill or a measure or a statement that came out of the Senate designating Russia as an aggressive adversary and giving the president the right to go to war. It's in the Senate. It's not a bill. It's not a law. But Russia's taking note. The United States and NATO getting ready to start performing war games in the Ukraine. Things are getting ready to really kick off hot here on the global plantation.
Yeah, well, it'll be right in time for whatever else is coming. I predict that big cyber attack they've been talking about forever will probably be the first thing that hits us. And then, they already declared that a cyber attack is a declaration of war. So they'll blame it on, nationally syndicated hackers or something out of Russia. And that'll be, the red button.
Yeah, and that'll be it. The whole thing will fall. Everything quite in succession will slide right after that. So get prepared, everyone.
And Alex Jones will be the tip of the spear.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see that son of a bitch get his medicine.
Well,
you see, Police Chief Kessler and his 3%ers have been absolutely 100% exposed as fucking snitch ass punks.
Who's that?
Never mind. I guess it's just my own personal beefs I have with the Oath Keepers and with these people that go around getting all the regular patriots, the people that really want things to change out there so they can get them named and numbered and classified.
Well, yeah, that guy that was the police chief who then put out the video shooting for gun rights, the all crazy guy. Yeah, and then he says that he did that interview saying that he was paid by the feds to get these patriots
he did
to
it
come
for
out.
the feds as for volunteer. He says he didn't get paid, but he did say he worked for the feds.
Yeah, he worked for the feds, so he's not going to tell you if he
try to ferret out all us patriot radicals.
He's getting paid. If he's working for the feds, he's getting a big bang.
Oh, he made his money off the patriot speaking. You know what I mean? He
Who's this again? Who is this we're talking about?
It was a cop. Go ahead.
He was the chief of police, Kessler, that was putting out all them wacky Second Amendment videos.
We did a few of those on here. He shoots like a crazy man, and I think he even got fired from his job. Like people were like, "This guy is freaking nuts."
Then all of a sudden you had Pete Santilli and these fucking fake militia fucks all jumping on his bandwagon with Larry Pratt, with Stuart Rhodes. They're all feds. They're all freaking agents.
That's why, guys, don't trust anybody, man. I'm telling you, I see so much crazy crap over the last 3 or 4 years, and people come and go, and sometimes your radar goes up, and sometimes it doesn't. Just keep your cards close to your chest, man.
Yeah.
It's all a game of pinochle. That's the way I see it.
Don't trust anybody who says they're your friend.
Well, I'd say the majority.
Yeah.
I mean, we got our little group here that's nice. I think we're all pretty safe with each other. But
but we've also ferreted out several snitches and
quite a number. Yes,
out of our bits.
That's
damn
true.
right.
That's true. All right, so
6 and keep your just keep your wits about you because the feds are everywhere.
Yeah, they are, and they're probably all in our chat too.
Oh yeah.
I just know I'm
giving them my 2-finger salute right now.
Yeah.
Well, did you guys see the other bill that they passed about intelligence bill bolsters warrantless spying on U.S. citizens? Now they're making it completely 100% legal for them to listen in on all our conversations and forward all that data to the law enforcement.
And no one's going to say a damn thing about it either. No one.
Well, here's another story, too, Zorie. There have actually been a couple where we lost everything. There was a Supreme Court ruling yesterday, and there was a story from last week, and I posted on my personal page. Hold on. By the way, if anyone wants to get, because I looked the other day, there's 25 different feeds that I feed stuff to. I connected 5 or 6 of them to the UCY Twitter now. So I think it's twitter.com/UCY TV. There's no dot because the dot screws things up. In that feed, that gets news from the UCY Facebook page, the Behind the Curtain Facebook page, the Before the First Cup with my weird tech news Facebook page, my personal Facebook page. I think there's at least 4. There might be 5 that funnel out there, but all that news goes out there now. But there was a story that I posted. I think it was on Friday. Let me go there. And it was about Facebook. And again, New York State steps up, fascist state of New York. Facebook has been told that they need to provide records, including photos and personal posts and emails. Here it is.
My wife told me, Jules, that starting January 1st, anybody who wants to stay on Facebook has to sign a disclaimer or a waiver with the Department of Homeland Security.
Oh.
Yeah, there was something that they made you for
I don't
change
know
of
the
terms and
particulars, but
conditions. Yeah, we should probably look into that. But
that'll
listen,
be the last day you see me on Facebook.
Well, listen, I want you and everyone else to listen very carefully to the story. The title of this was Facebook tries to block, quote, biggest ever, unquote, set of warrants issued by New York prosecutor. I was like, Facebook blocking New York prosecutor warrants? What? Yeah, check this out. lawyers for one of the large, and I mean, like Facebook is really going to put up a fight fighting for our privacy, but
No, they're not.
listen to the precedent this is setting. Lawyers for one of the largest global social networks are set to appear before a judge to appeal a New York court's order to comply. Okay. To comply with outstanding search warrants that demand the secret release of information on 381 users. The company's legal team argues that the colossal set of warrants, which Facebook says are the largest it has ever received to date, violates users' Fourth Amendment rights, which protect them against unlawful search and seizure. The set of warrants was originally issued in July of 2013, but over the last year, a series of court decisions have upheld the warrants' legitimacy. The Facebook, of course, is criticizing the set of warrants, but check this out. The set of warrants was issued in relation to a 3-year disability fraud investigation. In September 2013, a New York judge blocked Facebook's first motion to halt the implementation of the set of warrants. The court ruled that Facebook's challenge to the search warrant on this particular ground is unpersuasive and without merit. Acting Justice Melissa C. Jackson argued that the state had adequately supplied indication that evidence of criminal activity would be found in the requested Facebook accounts. Facebook, however, was granted a stay pending appeal, which was denied some months later, forcing the social media giant to comply with the demands. Justice Jackson agreed with Vance's claim that the Fourth Amendment was not violated, as Facebook did not have privacy interests expressly stated in their terms of use, to which the users must agree in order to use the site. 62 of those people targeted by sets of warrants were indicted this winter. Facebook photos, which showed the suspects acting in ways inconsistent with purported disabilities, served as evidence against them. So if you were on a disability and you had a vacation picture, freaking water skiing in Aruba, you were fucked, huh?
Yeah, you're getting a settlement, and then there's a picture of you on the internet parasailing and down in Bermuda.
Even in your private account, locked down to private friends, or in your messaging, it goes on to continue that they have access now. And I mean, we knew all this already, but I mean, they're like, well, we know that these people are going to have evidence that they're doing wrong on their social media accounts, so we want it all now.
Wow. But that one that I just mentioned, that bill takes away the need for a warrant. They need no warrants anymore since they passed that one that night. They don't even have to go to them with a warrant. They just get the information now.
Well, there goes the Fourth Amendment. That's it. It's dead now.
Yeah, and I hearken back to the picture of me from Freedom Palooza with 2 fingers straight up, and the caption reads, "Without due process and habeas corpus, cops, Congress, and cops. What? How was it? Oh, cops. Never mind. Without habeas corpus, I forgot my own little saying now.
Oh
no. Cops and judges and congressmen are nothing but cons, and criminals, man. And that's the way it is. Because we don't have due process. All of our laws are selectively enforced. If you have enough money, you can get out of anything.
Well, I've been doing a bunch of stories on all these police brutality videos, dash cams that are being released now almost on a daily basis. And one of the things that I've discovered time and time again is that a lot of times these people are pulled over for reasons like the story I did yesterday, the 76-year-old in Texas. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And bad news is one of our hosts, and I'm not going to say who, knows someone who works at the hospital where the 76-year-old went to the hospital, and I guess he's back now having heart palpitations and stuff after the cop tased him twice. Yeah. Anyway, listen, this was Monday, and I don't know if this was anything to do with the one that you're mentioning, Zorie, but Supreme Court rules on Monday 8-1 that cops can pull you over for the wrong reason.
Yeah, that's a different one, but yeah, I read that too.
But that's not due process. That's not. You have the right to be secure in your property and
no more.
You have the right to you have a reasonable expectation to not be molested without due process. Again,
not no more.
You're right, not no more. And somebody was mentioning in Chicago about how they changed the filming laws. They haven't actually changed the law. What they're doing is changing the definition of what a police officer's expected privacy in public can be.
Right.
So they're basically trying. They haven't actually done it yet and made it illegal to film the cops, but they're in the process.
I thought New Hampshire did make it illegal.
Probably. They're probably.
I didn't see New Hampshire.
Retards there.
Yeah, I forget. It came up yesterday, wasn't it? That we seen an article where New Hampshire was the first one to make it against the law to film police during their duty.
Find that, because I didn't see that anywhere.
Yeah, and I just encourage people to keep doing it. We need a comment.
Well, don't be obvious about it. Hold the camera down. Don't hold it up there where they can see what you're doing.
Here's the deal. Why aren't if the cops think their job is too fucking dangerous, why aren't they doing the things that they should be doing, like demanding that their legislators and policymakers stop making everything illegal? You make everything illegal, then everybody's a criminal, and every time you pull somebody over or have any kind of an interaction, it could turn sour. And that usually means someone gets shot in the back for running.
Yeah.
And it's not right. And it isn't black and white or race or over policing black communities. It's cops killing people and then getting away with it. No, I do understand about the racial things. I've lived in the fucking ghetto. I'm a white boy that spent half of his life, in and out of custody with all these black guys. Cops kill people, period. And they get away with it. And the deal is if you get is there's never an indictment handed down, and that's got to change.
All right,
whether it's white or black, when a cop kills somebody, they should be indicted. Period.
Okay,
proof was self-defense. That's all.
What New Hampshire did is they're using it as under the eavesdropping law.
Of course, that's what Chicago is doing. You can't report somebody without their knowledge.
It's like when you have a recorded phone conversation. In New York, you gotta tell both parties.
Yes.
You're supposed to have the assumption of privacy between the two of you. We're out in the public, and everyone can
and that's what they're doing right now, Dodie, is their cops had always been the exception. They have no expectation of privacy when they're working in public.
Right.
But in Chicago, they're trying to change that now.
Yeah. Under the eavesdropping, they're trying every way they can to keep us from filming. But one thing I have to say, what good does it do to film them? Look at Eric Garner. We have a film of it out there, and they still found him no reason to charge the cops.
Exactly.
Right, I got a bunch of things
the
I want to
pressure's
talk
on,
about.
though, now.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it funny how our cameras never shut off at crucial moments when all the cops' dash cams and body cams always shut off right when they're not supposed to? That's why you got to keep doing it.
Well, you got to keep doing it because if you don't have it on camera, then you're going to end up getting arrested and put away for a while. I've done 3 stories over the last 4 days, and all of these are showing wrongdoing. And the one in particular, which was the woman in, what city was it? Had it not been on camera, and they deleted it on her, by the way, she would have gone away for a felony.
Oh, the one that went up on the cloud and she didn't.
Yeah. And her daughter managed to find it on the cloud, but the cop deleted it. Hold on, because we're going to do a couple of these stories. And then I stayed up until after 4 this morning because I stumbled across something that just made me so unbelievably upset and sad that I actually set up a GoFundMe account that I'm going to tell you guys about. And I will guarantee you will not believe what I discovered last night. I'm just beyond even understanding how this is possible. All these people who think, and I said this the other day, we got all these protesters, and I'm going to tell you what, I've been involved in protests since I was in college, and there's something that happens that once it reaches kind of the mainstream, you get hundreds of thousands of people attending, not because they believe in the cause, but because it's cool.
Or because
they want to get on TV.
Or because their union pays them to hop on a bus and go out there.
Yeah, we saw that happen too.
At Occupy.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's unbelievable to me. So anyway, hold on. Let me just pull up my whole feed of stories here. By the way, I started feeding in, I figured out a way to pull an RSS feed from the antimedia.org for the stories that I wrote and put them on the Before the First Cup page.
Nice.
All right, yeah, there were a couple of them. So here's the one in Baltimore. Let's talk about these quick, and then you guys are not even going to believe, but I don't want to give it all away yet because I was almost in tears yesterday over this. All right, this is the one from the other day. Woman verbally attacked, and I was like, oh, she's verbally attacked. Come on. I can drop F-bombs with the best of them. Woman verbally attacked, tased, and arrested while recording arrest by Baltimore police. What? Yes, absolutely. Did we read this one or no?
No.
Maybe not. I've come up with a way to start all these stories now. The assault continues. It's a good way to start them all. The assault continues, this time by Baltimore police. Cell phone video footage was just released from a March 2014 incident where Kianga Mwamba, which I thought, wow, that's a great name. Kianga Mwamba, the daughter of a police officer, says she's driving home when she saw police with a handcuffed man on the side of the road. As she slowed down and began to record the arrest on her cell phone, an officer tells her she must park if she wants to record. She responds stating she will pull over as the audio captures an irritated officer begin to approach her vehicle, telling her to get out of the car. An argument quickly escalates as she is ripped from the car, tasered twice, and slammed to the ground. As you hear handcuffs close, the officer is then caught on audio saying, "You're a dumb bitch, you know that?" Well, I guess she was, since then you deleted her video. And her teenage daughter found it later on the cloud. I guess she wasn't that dumb, was she? Mwamba's attorney state that the police deleted the original video from her cell phone, but her daughter was later able to find it, copied to her cloud account. In documents filed over the incident, the officer claims Mwamba sped up, hit an officer as he yelled to stop, adding, "I asked Mrs. Mwamba to step out of the vehicle, but she refused and held on tight to the steering wheel." According to the video below, her attorneys state that the video and the police statement did not match up, which they did not. Mwamba was charged with felony assault on an officer, but charges have since been dropped. Mwamba's attorney is quoted as saying, quote, "If this video was not able to be preserved," and he's so right, "she could have been in prison right now." For felony assault, mind you. The case is now under review with the state's attorney office, and according to CNN, Mwamba has filed a $7 million lawsuit against a number of officers involved in her arrest for deleting her footage, tampering of evidence.
Well, the fact, too, that she a police chief's daughter?
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder how much that has to do with it being dropped, too.
Just caught 3 cops here in Syracuse, and this is ongoing, filing, they call it a false instrument, but lying about their times, stealing thousands of dollars from the taxpayers for working days they didn't work. And
I saw that.
And here's the deal, because I've been watching, everybody's talking about how horrible it is that NFL players beat their wives, but that's really, wife beating is really a minority until you get to groups like law enforcement, who have the highest instance of spousal abuse and domestic violence of any other group of people on this planet. So,
it always has.
But they never mention it. That they're talking about Ray Rice and all these other people that got caught, but they never talk about the people that are supposed to be protecting us, that are violent people. They're trained to become violent, and then that's the way they are.
Can I play this video?
Absolutely.
All right, so this is the woman who is filming the cops, and then you'll hear her get attacked.
This is the latest video to once again shine a light on what attorneys call excessive force by Baltimore police.
You a dumb know that?
The whole thing's heart-wrenching, but it's just sort of, it really just depicts their attitude.
The video shot in March, just over 2 minutes long. The woman, 36-year-old Kianga Mwamba, is recording the arrest of a man on the street.
You telling me I can't record on my phone? Okay.
Police tell her she can record, but yell for her to park.
All right, I'll park, and I hear y'all saying this. I'm ready to pull it over. How can I pull my car over right here and the police right here?
Despite her explanation, attorneys say their client is snatched out of the car. The woman, the daughter of a Capitol police officer, is tasered twice.
Oh my God, are you serious? You said
Yes.
all that is on my
You a dumb know that?
In a statement to WJZ, police officials say, quote, during the arrest, language is used that is both offensive and unacceptable. The Baltimore Police Department expects and demands that officers treat every citizen with respect, regardless of the situation. The woman is arrested and charged with using her vehicle to strike an officer. Those charges have since been dropped. In this statement of probable cause, the officer says the woman accelerated towards another officer and he yelled for her to stop. But attorneys say the video and this probable cause statement do not match up.
I have no reason to believe anything that he wrote was correct.
The attorneys say their client was left with cuts, bruises, and a severe sprain, but it's the emotional scars that are the hardest to heal. The woman's attorneys tell WJZ the police actually deleted the video from her cell phone, but her tech-savvy teenager found it in her iCloud account.
We have also heard from the woman's attorney now, and he tells us that he's not aware of any discipline against the Baltimore police officers involved. And we've also just heard this hour from that affiliate reporter you just saw, Rochelle Ritchie, who says that the officers are still on the job as of this time. And the woman's lawyer was told that the case has been referred to the state attorney's office.
And then it has a little blurb. Mwamba has filed a $7 million lawsuit against a number of officers she said was involved in her arrest in what she says was an attempt by police to destroy her footage.
You know, it's funny that we haven't heard from her father.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably part of the police union, et cetera, et cetera. And they're all fucked up now because they're
right now they're telling him what he can't say.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But and you know what? Here's the deal. If that was you or me, I'd lose my goddamn mind, right? And fuck my job. But we already know. I mean, look at Katrina. Look at Hurricane Katrina, where that police chief let his grandma die because he couldn't get orders to go in and save her. Well, he's a coward, and he deserves to have to live with that. He killed his own grandmother.
Yep, they'll do it.
Will this young lady's father say anything? Maybe, but probably not.
He's got a pension, you know? I mean, that's what happens.
Well, will he be like Kelly Thomas's father, who says, damn the police, who was actually a cop himself? I doubt it. Maybe.
Yeah.
I
don't know, but it's funny we haven't heard anything. And you notice they don't mention it but one time, and then it's dropped.
And here's the thing the cops don't realize. Your kids are just as susceptible, man. You're turning everybody into criminals, and and that includes your family. Whenever you're not around and your family's just out there in public, they're insurgents, and you're part of it.
Well, they're setting us all up to be insurgents, that's for sure, from every angle.
Yes.
I mean, you see that happening, and that whole thing this morning that we started out with, looking at, now the coffee shop attack. It could happen to anyone. It's not in Iraq. It's not.
We got to be able to torture people.
So there was another story that came out over the weekends. I've been busy all weekend. But you know what? Shit has gone crazy. I am looking at, we are only at the 16th of the month, and I've hit over 176,000 views on my stories, guys.
Oh my God, that's wonderful.
And it's insane. It's insane. So this one came out of Buffalo, and that's why it caught my attention, because it happened down in Chippewa, which is where I used to go drinking when I lived there. Buffalo, New York cop caught beating man with baton by local TV channel.
Whoa.
The local Channel 7 was out on the beat actually filming cops on the street, like doing their jobs. And they caught these guys. Well, all right, we'll read this. They let him go, though, after being told that they're being recorded. So wait. Says the assault continues, this time by the Buffalo police. Exclusive video footage was just released from a Thanksgiving 2014 incident captured in downtown Buffalo by a local news crew from WKBW. Officer Corey Krug, attempting to break up a potential fight, slams an unidentified man onto the hood of a car, then onto the ground, where he begins beating him with his baton, yelling at him to get up. The other officers walk over, and as they tell Officer Krug he is being recorded, Krug lets the man get up and walk away with no charges. News crews have been following police on the job when they caught the footage. They then took the video footage to Buffalo Police Commissioner Dan Dorenda to get a statement. Whoops! Commissioner Dorenda states that they, quote, take inappropriate behavior very seriously. Of course they do. And appropriate action is taken in each and every case. Dale Irwin, a civil rights attorney for the New York Civil Liberties Union, states in a recorded interview with WKBW after seeing the footage, quote, they are telling this guy to walk away, so apparently he did nothing. I absolutely, categorically believe his civil rights were violated. 15 other police officers have been charged, convicted, or suspended in Buffalo since 2012. An internal affairs investigation is pending, and Dorenda states he's also reached out to the FBI and the Attorney General's office for possible investigation. Officer Krug has been suspended without pay indefinitely, and now the Buffalo police are trying to find the man who was beaten in order to speak with him as part of their investigation. Oh, I'm sure they're going to look really hard. So here, let me play this clip now, because this one, I just honestly talk about. This is why now the last woman, she got off of what would have been a felony charge had her video been gone. Okay,
right.
Now this guy here was getting the shit kicked out of him, and they found out someone was recording it, and they're like, "Oh, get out of here!" I mean, that's 2 for 2.
It is.
Hold on.
Buffalo police officer caught on camera by one of our own 7 Eyewitness News photographers hitting a man with a billy club in the early morning hours of Thanksgiving. Since that morning, 7 Eyewitness News has been tracking down this exclusive story for you, taking the video straight to the police department. Tonight, they are responding on camera, and the officer is suspended without pay. Ed Dranch joins us now with this 7 Eyewitness News exclusive.
And Joanna, Officer Corey Krug is off the job tonight as police look into the video and what he's recorded doing. While it's unclear if or when he'll return to work, we're told this is just the beginning of the process now that this video has become public. Nightstick in hand, Officer Corey Krug storms down Chippewa Street early Thanksgiving morning, confronting a man about to get into a fight. The confrontation quickly turns physical. Other officers rush over as Krug tells the man on the ground to get up, but he winds up and swings his baton again. The officer swings at least twice more before this. Those other officers are telling Officer Krug he's being recorded on camera. It was our 7 Eyewitness News photographer who documented the altercation. He was following police officers on the job when he saw Officer Krug hitting the man and then letting him walk away.
They're telling this guy to walk away, so apparently he did nothing.
Dale Irwin is an attorney with the New York Civil Liberties Union. He says in a situation like this, police officers would normally charge someone with something, but in this case, no arrest.
I absolutely categorically believe believe his civil rights were violated.
After we showed the tape to Buffalo Police Commissioner Dan Dorenda, Krug was suspended without pay indefinitely. Dorenda says he's reached out to both the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office for a possible investigation into civil rights violations. The police department is also doing its own investigation.
And I really can't comment specifically on an internal investigation. What I will say is, as it is shown, this administration takes inappropriate behavior very seriously, and appropriate action is taken in each and every case.
Krug joins a list of at least 15 Buffalo police officers who have been charged, convicted, or suspended, all since 2012. The latest was Officer John Cerulli, who was convicted on civil rights violations after being caught on camera hitting and kicking John Willett in April in Riverside. Last year, an officer, Corey Krug, was named in a federal civil rights lawsuit stemming from a 2010 arrest. It's unclear where that case stands in federal court. We've also discovered from a police source Corey Krug is a relative of Officer Raymond Krug, who was charged with federal civil rights violations stemming back to a 2009 arrest.
The vast majority of officers do the right thing each and every day, and when officers don't do the right thing, cross the line, there's consequences, and as we've shown in the past, we do what we have to do, take necessary action.
We tried getting in touch with Officer Corey Krug tonight to no avail. At this point, we don't know who the man in the video is, and police are looking to speak with him, Joanna and Jeff, as part of their investigation.
I bet they are.
Yeah, I bet they are.
I bet they are.
Run away, dude. They don't want to talk to you.
You know what I noticed was they kept beating him, and they kept. But hang on, JJ. They kept beating the dude on this clip, and they said, "Get up, get up." Usually they're saying, "Get down on your stomach." They're going, "Get up, get up," and every time he didn't get up, they beat him again.
And I know.
And then the one cop comes and was like, "Hey, man, don't stop that." You know?
Yeah, they're filming you, dude.
Right.
That's exactly what. And then he stopped.
They're looking for him is like your grandma telling you to go get a switch.
Right.
If he goes in, then he deserves to get beat up. I mean, he doesn't. I'm just saying, you know.
Well, what he should do is go
when
find
I was
that
on
civil
parole,
rights attorney.
If the parole officer told me to come in on a day that wasn't my assigned report date, I'm an idiot if I show up. And if you show up at my house on
right,
that,
you're going to jail.
I deserve to go back.
Yep.
I agree with you, Jules. He should go find that civil rights attorney in the clip.
Yeah,
right, don't go to the police department.
If his face ever finds another TV camera, he should get a lawyer quickly.
He absolutely should.
Then go see the cops.
Right. Well, then let the attorney go see the cops.
That's what I just, Yep, that's what I just meant.
With you. Take the press with you.
Well, you go with your attorney. I'm not going to talk to any cop without an attorney present. Period.
All right, so now I want to do this last story out of Texas that just horrified me, and all I kept thinking about was my grandfather and my dad. My grandfather, when I was a kid, my uncle owned a collision shop, and my grandfather was retired already, so that's what he did. He was like the office manager. He sat, in the coffee room and read the paper, and he fed the dog, and he'd take the cars on the lot to the car wash or to the detail place and have the insides cleaned. You know what I mean? He was just like the little office helper.
Yeah.
Well, that's what this guy, from what I was reading, that sounds a lot like this guy. And he's 76. Texas cop tasers 76-year-old man for not having an inspection sticker.
Oh, my God.
Which he doesn't have to have legally.
Right. We'll talk about that. And this is because my uncle owned a body shop, I absolutely knew about dealer plates. This dude was absolutely right. The assault continues, this time in Victoria, Texas. Dashcam footage obtained by a local Texas paper, the Victoria Advocate, from a December 11, 2014 incident. So this was like last Thursday. Shows Officer Nathaniel Robinson pulling over a 76-year-old Pete Vasquez for reportedly what the officer believed to be an expired inspection sticker. The paper states that Vasquez was driving a lot vehicle owned by Adams Auto Mart, his place of employment, when he was pulled over. In the video, you see Vasquez pulling into the work parking lot, step out of the car, and attempt to explain to the officer that he was driving a dealer car, not requiring the sticker, evidenced by him pointing to the dealer plate. You see it in the dash cam footage on the back of the car as proof. Officer Robinson doesn't seem to care and proceeds to walk up behind the 76-year-old Mr. Vasquez to arrest him as a feisty Vasquez pulls away. Now, any 76-year-old is going to tend to get ornery and feisty, okay?
Yeah, right.
Especially if you don't listen to them and they're trying to tell you something. And that's exactly, you could see it all transpire in this video. A struggle ensues and Vasquez is pushed into the hood of the police car, then falls to the ground with the officer holding his arms. Stunned onlookers watch the scene unfold as Officer Robinson continues his assault by pulling out his taser and screaming commands at Mr. Vasquez while he's on the ground. You then hear Officer Robinson then place a dispatch call saying taser deployed, as well as dispatch's confirmation. A few minutes later, a quote-unquote backup arrives, and you hear them asking Mr. Vasquez what happened and if he was hurt. The Victoria Advocate reports that Mr. Vasquez was then handcuffed, placed in the back of a police car, and taken to the hospital where they kept him in custody for 2 hours. Adams Auto Mart sales manager Larry Ulrich, and I believe he is the gentleman in blue that walks out and starts screaming at the cop while he is tasing or getting ready to tase Mr. Vasquez on the ground. Larry Ulrich is quoted as saying after witnessing the incident, quote, "I told the officer, what the hell are you doing? This gentleman is 76 years old. The cop tells me to stand back, but I didn't shut up. I told him he was a goddamn Nazi stormtrooper."
Yeah, that was cool.
That was awesome. Victoria Police Chief Jeffrey Craig confirmed to the local paper that the dealer tags on the vehicle Mr. Vasquez was driving were legal. Officer Robinson has been placed on administrative leave pending an internal investigation. Robinson could face anywhere from reprimand to termination. And like I said, I was told yesterday from a friend who actually works in the hospital. This happened right up the street from one of our hosts. Apparently, Mr. Vasquez was in the hospital yesterday complaining now of heart issues. So I hope nothing happens to this poor guy. I was so pissed off when I saw this video.
Why is this officer not
How is
being
that not
criminally
assault?
charged? Right.
It is assault.
Aggravated assault with intent to do serious bodily harm.
Right.
Well, you know what? And I always say, well, they need to be this and that. You know what? There's sometimes where I just sit back and say, you know what? Just let it happen, because it's not long before it's us versus them, and where we're going to be forming little vigilance committees to protect ourselves from the fucking cops.
Jules, do you have time to play this clip?
I do. I want to play this. I want you guys to hear this. So hold on. Here we go. So what we're going to hear here, I'll kind of narrate as we're driving because it's just dash footage. Following incident video is dash footage capturing the incident between a Victoria police officer and Mr. Vasquez. Oh, and I don't want to get hit for his rap music there for copyright, so I'm just going to let that. But the cops got rap going in the car. Hear it? But I'm not going to play it. I don't want to get tagged.
They're thugs.
They are thugs. So now he's behind him at a stoplight. Mr. Vasquez makes a left and then a quick right into his place of employment. He parks his car. The cop pulls up behind him, and you see the dash footage. The cop gets out, walks up behind the car, walks to the driver's side window. Here we go. Now the music's off. Walks to the driver's side window. No, it isn't. Mr. Vasquez gets out. He's got a piece of paper in his hand. The cop looks and points to his window, showing him he has an expired inspection. He says, well, he's going to walk in to get the manager. He points, and the cop's like, no. He points back to the car. The guy walks to the back of the car and points to his dealer plates, like saying, look, see, I got the plates. He walks, the cop goes to grab the paper from his hand, then grabs the man's arm, gets behind him, starts to flip him around and slams him in the front of the car, puts him into an arm lock around from behind. They both drop to the ground. Now the music's still playing. it looks like the secretary, the office manager, comes out and sees this all happening, and she's like, what? She's standing on the sidewalk looking at it. Now, they're still on the ground. Now you see the cop get up, and he's still kind of off frame. Now he's got his taser pointing at the guy, screaming, put your hands on your back. Put your hands on your back. Put your hands on your back. Then he hits his thing. Wait, you'll hear him.
23C1. Centered by Victoria County Officers.
Now you have the guy yelling at him. I think that's the Nazi stormtrooper guy. And she just said, taser deployed. You saw him hit his thing. He said, taser deployed. After a few minutes, more officers arrive to stop and assess the situation. One asked Vasquez about what happened.
How you doing? 352729.
You see how I'm doing?
What happened?
Nothing happened. I was just driving by to get in this car to these people, and he come behind me and put the damn lights on there.
Yeah.
He said he don't have a sticker, but he's got a license plate, state license plate in there, which is supposed to be exempt.
Right.
So I don't know what his deal is.
And then what happened?
I put the. He came over here and got nasty with me. Yeah, I'm not gonna put up with it. I don't care who it is.
Right.
So then he grabbed me and threw me on the pavement there. I always knocked my head on like dead pole, and then he started tasing.
Are you hurting anywhere?
Not yet. Probably later on. I'm 77 years old.
Okay. What'd you hit?
I hit my knees and my back and everything else. My shoulder and everywhere else.
Your head hurt or anything?
Not yet.
What, you think it will later?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I can't see.
You want us to get you checked out?
And then they handcuffed him and took him to the hospital.
In handcuffs?
And now
yeah, that's what the local paper said.
You know what would happen? Let me tell you something. What would happen if me and some of my friends were walking down the street, right? And then one of our other friends spit on an old man or slapped an old man like that? We would beat the shit out of him and call him a punk and kick him out of our group.
No shit. All right, guys, before the time is up, and we got about 3 minutes, so here's a story that I caught last night before I was getting ready to crash that made me stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning and set up a GoFundMe. Tell me that these protests aren't just fake fucking bullshit. So here's a story that came out 2 days ago, actually 3 days ago now. A visit to Eric Garner's gravesite is what it's titled. Let me just read this for you, and I'm going to drop you the story, and you're going to shit your pants. Eric Garner is buried in Rosedale Cemetery, a sweeping expanse of land in Linden, New Jersey, located just across the river from Manhattan. Now, Eric Garner, though we just all saw that video, this event happened in July. I was scrolling through all my stories on Anti-Media, and I covered it initially as this guy deserved to die for untaxed cigarettes. That was my whole take on the story. His funeral was in July after a white police officer choked him to death on Staten Island. Known around town as a peaceable soul, Garner has been accused of selling untaxed cigarettes. He has 6 children and a wife, but he did not have a weapon. He lived to the age of 43, and his last words were, "I can't breathe." Now, we've seen this all over. There are hundreds of thousands of protesters again this weekend all over the country. Despite a wealth of video evidence and a coroner's report that labeled it a homicide, Staten Island grand jury declined last week to indict the officer responsible. Yes, we know that. All right, now get this. Garner has become an important metaphor, which can but shouldn't overshadow the fact that he was once a man. I paid a visit yesterday to Rosedale Cemetery. I didn't know Eric Garner, but I guess I wanted to make him less abstract. I went to the Rosedale office and received a map. A kind woman directed me to an area of the cemetery behind a large mausoleum called M Lawn. Elm Lawn. Garner's plot was labeled 8B1, and I actually went to the website inventory of all the graves, and that is his. It has the name. I walked to Elm Lawn, but I couldn't find the plot. The ground was soggy from several days of rain and snow. A small man in a maintenance cart pulled up beside me and asked if I needed help. I said I was looking for 8B1. The Staten Island man, he said. Yes, I said. He said, very sad. He led me to an unmarked bit of ground. There was no tombstone or flowers or anything else for the people used to memorialize the dead. There was only a muddy 2-foot depression in the shape of a coffin. Since Garner's burial, the ground had settled some, and the maintenance man said they haven't been able to fill it in because of the weather. He apologized for the mess and asked how I knew Garner. I said I didn't know him at all. He told me, I haven't seen anyone since the funeral. It's hard. We stood there silently for a minute, and I noticed Garner's buried next to a Vietnam veteran. I asked the maintenance man who tended to Garner's grave, but he talked past me. Look, he said, he's all alone. It's a big deal. He walked around the depression and shook his head. Maybe we'll be able to fill it all in today. His voice sounded hopeful, but then he looked up at the sky and it was cloudy and it looked like more bad weather. The man nobody's been there since he's been buried, and he doesn't even have a fucking tombstone. Yet we got hundreds of thousands of people who are fucking saying I can't breathe, and apparently I fucking care, and this dude can't even be buried with any fucking dignity? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? This is all a bunch of bullshit. This guy should have a tombstone. I mean, I was just so upset by that.
Now you know how I feel about Cindy Steele's husband, Edgar.
Look at the fucking picture I just posted.
In prison, but then they had to call the chapel that he was supposed to be buried at and make them refuse to take the body, so now Cindy had to have him cremated and mailed to her.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
So the dignity doesn't end even when you die with these motherfuckers.
But the thing is, you got hundreds of thousands of people fucking marching, and he's in an unmarked grave?
Exactly, Jules. They're all just fake glory hounds.
And you got LeBron James too. That
all these famous
with this T-shirt that makes me fucking want to puke. I am totally with you, Jules.
In an unmarked fucking grave.
My God.
It's all about the news and propaganda.
Dude,
it's the end of the show.
Wow, you just knocked it out of the fucking ballpark.
All right. Thank you guys for being on today. Thanks for calling in, JJ. Thank you for getting up, ladies. I managed to pull myself out of bed. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Make sure you stick around because Mr. Kevin Blanche is up next. And it is Tuesday night, so there is live radio all night tonight. So make sure you stick around on UCY. I don't know. Here it comes. All right, everybody. Have a happy Tuesday. Everybody take care.